Welcome back, OIG family, to another exciting episode in our AMA series. Today I had the privilege of speaking with Young Sung and Christian from VisionGame. VisionGame is a multi-layered solution to bring blockchain adoption to gaming, with features like Vision.Offering and a full suite SDK for developers. Remember, if you like the content, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and hit the like button to stay up to date with all the content coming out from OIG. Without further ado, let's jump straight into the AMA. Okay, gents, welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys on our AMA series. Could you tell us a little about who you are and how you got involved with VisionGame? Let's start with you, Young Sung.
Yeah, nice to meet everybody. I'm Young Sung, CMO of VisionGame. I started with the team as an advisor and incubator to VisionGame since last year. I've always had a huge passion for games, and my goals about blockchain in general, of helping out projects that can really lead into blockchain mass adoption, aligned well with Christian's team. And I've decided to take the opportunity and the honor to be with them as their CMO, and have been helping them throughout the marketing campaigns since then.
Really cool. And Christian?
Yeah, pretty much like always coming from passion as well. I've been in the industry, in the traditional industry for the past 11 years. First as a programmer, then as a designer, as a director, and higher up. And, I was always, since I was little, pretty much involved with games. And I worked at a former blockchain gaming company in 2017. And while over there, it was my first approach with the blockchain market, first of all. And I started to see the potential, but also the troubles that teams that didn't have a lot of game development experience were facing within the industry when trying to approach it. And that sort of started the seed for VisionGame. And then, I met Young Sung a couple of years later. The market seemed, ready for something like this. And that's how we decided to start VisionGame.
Yeah. Amazing. So yeah, let's get a little more into VisionGame and what is it exactly?
It's essentially like if you take a traditional gaming publisher and you bring it to the blockchain market, but you power it with tools, thanks to blockchain technologies. The idea is really to become a one-stop solution for any sort of company, both traditional gaming companies looking to get into the blockchain market and blockchain gaming companies looking to get that boost when it comes to game development that they lack. So for example, it starts with the Vision.SDK, which contains a series of features for both the blockchain, for example, leveraging Solana, leveraging Engine and other technologies later on. And it goes on with Vision.Offering, which is essentially a crowdfunding platform that connects gamers and developers in a way that the market hasn't quite yet seen at the time. And that's pretty much what we're trying to do. We're trying to provide the know-how that we have within the industry, within the traditional industry, so that we can raise the product value of all the products within the blockchain one game at a time. That's essentially what we're doing. And it's a one-stop solution because we can take a project from, the incubation phase or even later stages as well, and help them not only, connect with their community, raising the funds or use those development tools, but even with actual consultancy services where we can best tell them how to make an engaging and fun experience that the traditional market could be proud of as well.
Very cool. And you touched on the tools such as like the Vision SDK. Could we go into a little more detail of how that's going to help developers and what does the toolkit include?
It's a very broad set of features. It's a very big tool in the sense that it acts as a middle layer between the game engine and the blockchain technologies for all the teams that, like traditional gaming companies that don't have that kind of skill set. And so we sort of want to, empower them coming to the market without having to worry about building an entire blockchain team just for that. So for example, when it interfaces with Solana, it provides a great SDK for Unity that's stripped down of all the complexity almost to an hand-holding level. So essentially, we use a lot of the interface of Unity to make a lot of the features simple for even non-developers. We allow integration for reading NFTs and using them into the game very, very easily. And not only that, but the SDK, as I said, is a very broad tool. And so it has even game development features for the blockchain first companies that may have all the blockchain stuff figured out. But when it comes to game development, they struggle a little. So for example, real-time multiplayer or turn-based multiplayer, or even metaverse features like terrain generation or importing 3D models made by the user, all the kind of technical hurdles that take away time from creativity and making the game fun and engaging, that's what the SDK aims to do.
And having a full suite of development tools surely creates an efficient game development process, and really opens up the floodgates for more people to jump in because you have these tools. So that's really cool. So let's go into a little more about your team and how they're set up to accomplish this.
Sure. Well, there's Young-Sung, which is our CMO. Then there's Sari, which is not today here on the call, which is our CTO. And we're all tied by the passion for gaming development and gaming as a whole. Sari, for example, developed a lot of game development tools that went on the Unity Asset Store. Some even used by big studios like the makers of Ori and the Blind Forest on Xbox and other platforms. And it's that kind of know-how that allows us to direct the team not only towards implementing those technologies, because many of those of this tech like Solana or even Engine is not that super well supported on game engines like Unity, for example. So it's not only the technical capabilities that allow us to implement those things, but it's also the experience as a game developer that allows us to strip them away of the complexity in a way that's not restricting to developers. Because if you strip away too much, then for some developers it becomes useless, right? Yeah. But we know essentially because we've been there what a developer need, and that's how we're structuring the team to focus on the product. Yeah.
Amazing, really cool stuff. Earlier on, you touched on Vision.Offering and how it's going to revolutionize the space in terms of crowdfunding. So could you go a little more into that and the brand tokens that are associated with making this happen?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Let me go into Vision.Offering as a crowdfunding platform, and then Yoon-Sung can go into the brand tokens, because that definitely came from him. So it's great that he talks about it. Okay. Essentially, why not a launchpad? Why aren't we calling it a launchpad? Because it's not about doing a whitelisted sale for a couple of days and and raise the public funds that are needed. But it's more about a sale that can go on even for the entire development and beyond, where essentially it's a platform pretty much like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, where you can get your product out, you can start building slowly your community, right? And you can even go further than that. So even after your game is released, you can release new rewards for your most loyal bakers, or you can go ahead and drop a DLC, an additional content, always to the same community. That's why Vision.Offering, for example, has community features built in, like users can comment, developers can update the community, there's developers blogs and so forth, because it's really not just a tool to get the companies, the projects, the funds they need, but most importantly, to create an actual community behind every single project, in the good and the bad, because then a community can be very vocal about what they like and they don't like and they dislike, but that's useful feedback to make great products as well, right? So yeah, so you want to go ahead about the brand tokens?
Yeah, so brand tokens are rooting from the concept of what we've seen in the market that's kind of coined as social tokens. This has been traditionally targeting like content creators, influencers who have their brand, who have their community and exclusive fan base that will start investing based on popularity. And we believe that this would be more of the direction that traditional gaming companies would be more open towards, instead of going through the pain of having a utility token. Think about use cases, going through different allocation percentages. They would want a token that they can easily integrate into their whole ecosystem, whether it be their brand or their game, right? So oftentimes what you see with a lot of these traditional games, if it's coming from a single publisher, is there are going to be consistent in-game purchases. But if you were to think, would one game publisher be issuing like tens and thousands of utility tokens? No, it's better that it's unified across everywhere. It reduces the pain of having to go through all the security compliance issues with taking to exchanges, whether are you doing an ICO, all the taxation issues. It aligns well with the strategy that we are making, that Vision.Offering is a crowdfunding platform designed for gaming companies. It fits within that strategy to make sure that they focus on the game and providing the benefits for the token holders, instead of coming up with another type of ERC trading token or SPL token that doesn't really have the benefits over the long term.
Yeah, and it's very clear to see that you guys, your focus is more on the utility of the platform, and not just the hype surrounding this space, as we know within the blockchain industry. And it's very good to see the focus on community as well as continued support after a launch, and that's exactly what Vision offering is going to provide for users. So that's good to see. On the topic of tokens, could you tell us a little more about the native token with VisionGame and how it's going to provide utility to the ecosystem?
Yes. So Vision token is the native, utility token that's to be powering every potential economic activity that occurs with the services, right? So Vision token will be the one that brand tokens are being pegged onto, right? So whether it be the minting price for brand tokens or whether you have NFTs, Vision token is the base currency that kind of allows you to navigate throughout. So, any kind of economic transaction that would happen with the smaller games, or, whatever the size that's being developed on the VisionGame ecosystem, Vision token becomes the base currency. It would be potentially used for paying transaction fees or any fees related to the SDK. And we are also thinking of different ways to use it along with other, games that would be publishing with us from day one, right? To provide further incentives. It could be implemented in, really star games that are launching with us that we know that would benefit from having this ecosystem boost, like community coming in to play them to earn Vision tokens, but not necessarily, locking ourselves into one native in-game that we're currently developing right now, because what we're focusing on is providing this toolkit. So I think the potential for where Vision token could be used is in a lot of different places. And our primary priority is to make sure that the token is used in the most compliant way in any type of jurisdiction, considering all the regulatory implementations that each governments are doing these days.
And that's a very good point. I mean, the regulatory landscape is one that's very hard to maneuver in an emerging space like blockchain. How has that experience been for you guys, and what steps are you guys taking to make sure you are compliant?
Yes, so this is usually often a series of long calls with our attorneys, chasing them after to review our services, to review every material that's related to the token, right? Whether it be the pitch deck or our one pager, we need to be sure that we're not over promoting our token, to ensure that different services, right? Whether it be like a crowdfunding platform, would this be considered, offering securities, making sure that there are no financial incentives that are guaranteed by the platform, right? Also being on top of what the US SEC has to say about Ripple. Those are different things that we're always on top of to monitor what's going around, and making sure that we can pivot at the right place if we see any potential compliance issue. Very
good to hear. Okay, perfect. So let's switch gears here and move on to our next segment, which are our Twitter questions. And these are a series of questions that are asked to our community prior to our AMA. And we'll start off with question number 1 here. And question number 1 is from Lorella. And Lorella asks, can you tell us what Vision.SDK is, the problem it's meant to solve, and what benefits or advantages does it offer game developers? Also, does this Vision.SDK focus solely on blockchain-related features, or can the general public also benefit immensely from it?
Yeah. Hi, Lorella, first of all. And yeah, we've been a little bit about this already, but essentially, Vision.SDK contains both features that are blockchain first and features that are game development first. The general public could benefit of it from it a little if they want to get into game development, but it's definitely a tool that's more aimed at game developers themselves. The ultimate benefit for the general public is that if you take away the necessity of spending a lot of time and money into getting to learn the technology at a level that can be production ready, then you have a team that can focus more resources and more of their time into what makes a game great, meaning, engaging, fun, and just, enjoyable to play. That's our ultimate goal. So the SDK, has a lot of features that could be considered a little boring even from the game development standpoint, because they're very heavily technical solution. And this includes, for example, when it comes to metaverses, we're making it so, one of the key things with metaverses nowadays is it's always an open world, right? So it's always a very, very huge map to explore. And that comes with a lot of drawbacks and setbacks for developers when it comes to frame rate and performances. And we're trying to optimize, to make those processes, those optimization processes automatic for those game developers that don't have that kind of experience. So, that's where the biggest benefits lies. Like, we're taking away the pitfalls that can happen during development so that they can focus on the creativity part and on delivering the best experience they can.
Definitely. Streamlining that experience helps every part of the production line, and including the end user. So very cool stuff. So here's our next question. Question number 2 comes from Livio. And Livio asks, collaborations and partnerships are some of the most important cornerstones to help improve adoption. Can you tell us about your current partners, plans for partners, and what everybody stands to gain from these partnerships?
So we are yet to disclose some of the partnerships that we've made from the beginning of VisionGame's journey. But I think from our core team standpoint, partnerships are always consistently being questioned around any blockchain project. But I think what actually separates VisionGame's core team to a huge extent is we have a different stance about how partnerships need to work. In the line of what we see out there and with blockchain-based games is that the production quality when it comes to targeting traditional users beyond the crypto space, having them be anywhere close to the top charts on App Store or Play Store, or having multi-million amount of users onboarding, because that's what games are supposed to be, right? The issues that are being consistently mentioned about game industry about, it's better that, to have NFTs replace items, right? As a game player, you never really go through about thinking, I wish this item was a collectible. The what you enjoy is is this actually fun? Am I spending hours thinking nothing else about it, right? But if there's additional benefits to it, then the more that I'm passionate about the game, right? If I can spend 10 hours just playing that game on a console and there are financial benefits, that's where I get excited about. But if I can't spend 10 minutes playing this game, I'm not even going to spend a minute trying to look out whether, this NFT makes sense or not. So for us, we are taking the approach to demonstrate, right, to how this SDK will actually benefit traditional gamers, traditional gaming development companies. I think, there's always this old saying about, show rather than telling. So for us, it's more that we'll show how this could work, and we're always open to having partnerships. But right now, our primary focus is this is how, you can actually benefit from partnering with us. So that's where, we're focusing right now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Good to hear. Let's move on to question number 3 here. And question number 3 comes from Tortama. And this person asks, I read that Vision.Offering is not a launchpad, but a crowdfunding platform. So what is the difference here? And what benefits can be expected for the developers and the funders by using your platform? Also, can anyone make use of your crowdfund platform to start their journey?
Yeah, essentially, as I said before, crowdfunding means that it's literally aimed at the public, at the community. It lasts longer. It's not just a quick sale, to raise awareness and to raise funds. It's a long journey that the developers take with with their own community and building on top of it. There are several ways that they can do that. As I said before, comments, developer blogs, and journal. But one of the key things is their rewards. Now, normally in this industry, you buy NFTs. And most of the time at extremely early stages of production, like even when the game is there's not even one line of code made. And this is a problem, especially, if you have some game design experience, it's like, do I have to lock in all my creativity juices even before I've tested them out, right? Because if I sold it, I can change it up after that. So one of the key things that brand tokens do, as we discussed before, is to sort of allow people to start buying into the project, to start supporting the project without having to commit immediately to NFTs. But even more than that, developers have a new way to engage with their audiences, because when the time is right, whenever they want, they can deliver rewards to their users that brand tokens can be used to buy, essentially. And it doesn't have to be just NFTs at that point. It can be physical merchandise. It can be one-on-one talk with the developers. It can be putting your face on an enemy, or giving your name to something. Like, it can be anything fun and anything engaging that the developers can think of. All in the sense of building that strong community. And that's where the different approach comes in, essentially. I forgot the last bit of the question, sorry.
The last part is just also, can anyone make use of your crowdfund platform?
Yeah. So essentially, ideally, yes. At the start, no, because for us, it's very important initially to be able to fully curate and dedicate ourselves to the entire process, to each project, to make them very successful, and to make Vision.Offering a very trustworthy platform. So initially, and even further down the line, there will always be sort of a vetting process that we go through with every project to ensure, that we're proposing the best projects in the market and the ones that we can make most of an impact with, essentially. But, sooner or later, Vision.Offering will open to all kind of projects that want to be on the platform, and the community itself that has grown on the platform will be able to decide whether something is worthy or not. Pretty much how it works on Kickstarter and Indiegogo.
Really cool stuff. Awesome. Well, that concludes our Twitter questions segment. We just have a few questions left about VisionGame. So yeah, let's finish off with some questions about things that VisionGame has achieved thus far that you guys are most proud of, and what things do we have to look forward to in the near future for VisionGame?
One of the key things that's happening right now is our listing on KuCoin. We're extremely proud of that, for sure. I'm very, very excited. And when it comes to the partners and the bakers that we made along the way, Wabi Ventures, X Network Capital, Dan from NetVRK, and all our amazing advisors. There's so many that I'm not going to be able to make them all honor, but it's been an extremely great journey on that side. And on the development side of things, for me, which, I take care of most of the development, it's extremely exciting, like seeing everything come together, the products. Vision.Offering is already live in its pre-registration phase, where people can start checking things out. We're also working on a first-party game called Vision Chimps. We are almost done with the full implementation of Engine and Solana within our SDK. Like, there's so much that in the past months has happened that it's hard to take it all in. But it's been a great journey so far. Hopefully, it's going to be even greater going forward.
Amazing. And you mentioned the listing on KuCoins. That's a really huge achievement for any project. Are there any key dates coming up on your roadmap that users and the community should look forward to?
For sure, we have a roadmap up on our website as well. One of the, we don't have yet hard dates, but one of the things that people will be able to see very, very soon is a finalized version with our first projects on Vision.Offering, the first release for Vision.SDK for game development companies that's going to support Engine and Solana, and more and more content about our first game, Vision Chimps. That's something to look forward to for sure. Plus, it's a game, and I love those, as I said. So that's the one I'm more excited about.
Really cool stuff. Well, it was a pleasure speaking today, Youngsung and Christian, about VisionGame. Where can users see more of VisionGame?
Oh, so VisionGame could be found on Twitter and Telegram. We also are expanding heavily with regional communities for Vietnam and Chinese users. So that people could, talk in their own language if required, but we'll be expanding further into different regions and languages as well.
Amazing, amazing. Truly remarkable stuff that you guys are doing at VisionGame, and we can't wait to see the product and actually get to use it. You mentioned, your upcoming game and as well as the SDK and so many other features that everybody will surely take advantage of. So it's great to see, and thank you guys again for joining us on our AMA series. We can't wait to have you back on and talk more about VisionGame.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been good.
Well, OIG family, that wraps up another episode in our AMA series. We hope you liked it. Remember, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and hit the like button to stay up to date with all the news coming out from OIG. Also, for all the official links, they'll be in the description below, so make sure you follow and subscribe to VisionGame as well as OIG. Until next time, we'll see you soon.